Italian heritage like me. He works with many toy company as a sculptor for company like Hasbro, McFarlane, Mezco, and Diamond Select Toys. So please welcome my guest tonight, the one and the only Rocco Tartamella. Welcome to the show. Rocco Paisan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Mr. Allen.
So this is the first time together. I saw we have some friends in common, like Zakot, for example, that was last week on the show. So I know that you works with them. But I want to start to go to Back to the Future, like the movie. So in the past, tell me how you discover the voice of your talent in your head, because every artist, I'm a writer, musician, YouTuber, so since when I was a kid, I was a little bit different because my passion to art. So tell me something about the little Rocco and the beginning of your journey as an artist.
Well, it all started when I used to draw a lot of comic books. I was a big Batman fan, everything Batman I needed. So also my father used to cut Bob Kane's hair. He's the guy who created Batman. So I had a lot of, there was a connection already there, but I didn't find that out till later. So after many years of drawing, I think I was in my 20s. No, I was like 19, 20. And then I started picking up clay. And I went, wow, I like this so much more than drawing. And I started just making like little cartoon characters. And from there, I just went to superheroes. I wanted to do people. And then it just, got bigger and bigger. And then I was like, I have a portfolio. I should start sending that out, start contacting people.
Wow. So, what is your first ever professional job that you did?
You know what? I was working as an intern at the art asylum. And they were doing projects for Toy Biz. And Lord of the Rings was about to come out. So the first professional thing I did that hit, the market was I did some accessories for like the Witch King. He had the big hood. I was working on that. I was working on some weapons and cleaning things up there. So I would say the Witch King, his hood, it was an accessory. It wasn't even a full figure. That was the first piece I think that came out, and I was super excited. Ooh, I made a hood.
Yeah, also because when you do every first time ever as something special, no, in general in the life, especially as an artist. So remember, so far I published in Italy, in Italian, 5 novels. Oh, but wow. I remember the first was more emotional, no, because it was the first time that I got in my hands something real, because only when something we publish, it looks like you are real, no, something that you did, no. Yeah. Because for example, I started writing in 2007, and right now I did, just in my file, in my computer, I have had 32 novels that's still in the computer, because I'm looking forward to find a new publisher. So it's more easy writing, and also as a musician. I published only one song, because in Italy, the music is really bad, the situation. Also the quality of the music is so bad, but also the producer doesn't understand the something new. They prefer following the marketing. No, the same stuff, boring stuff without something brilliant. No, it's difficult. I don't see a brilliant future for Italian music. I can see that in UK because they start to publish something interesting, but so the problem for an artist, in my opinion, is find the balance between your dream and the reality, because you go to the reality, and in the reality there starts your journey, but in general your journey is not easy like to surface a beach, no, but like to like walking the mountain, no, climb the mountain, no. So tell me something about that. What is your opinion about that between the passion and also the way to transform your passion in a job?
Mm. Yeah, like you said too, you've got all those novels already in your computer. I've got so many pieces that I've worked on that I'm itching to put out there. But I put all my creativity into whatever projects I get. So I know there's a corporate world, and like you said with the music, it's so corporate you can't do things. And for us too, it's like there's a lot of licensing issues. So I like to create things too on my own time, my own projects that are not, IPs or not intellectual properties for fun, for roughing things out, for just getting the feel. But a lot of the time, I'm very blessed. I get a lot of companies that come to me. I get a lot of private commissions. So I really, with my schedule, I get to flex that creativity in all those projects. But in between stuff I try to do my own thing that no one's ever seen before, characters that no one's ever heard of. It's all in my head.
What is
But
the first company, important toy company that you work with in your career?
well, every step along the way has been really important to me. The first place that I had an opportunity was the Art Asylum. They let me be an intern there I think I was there for about almost a full year. And then from there, I built up my portfolio, and then I went to McFarlane Toys and I worked in-house. And I was working on a lot of sports figures. I was working on Onimusha 2. There was a video game. I was working on Spawn. Actually, the first project I went in there, I was working on one of the Spawn figures. They gave me a pair of hands. They said, "Can you make these look good?" And everyone in the studio was working on the big Spawn and the Throne. I don't know if you remember that one with that big
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, so
remember.
I was working on a lot of parts on that, like the screaming skull with the glass coming out of the mouth. That was one of the armrests. So it was interesting working there. And then from there, I was doing monsters too. They gave me the sea creature for the McFarlane Monsters too, the one with the harpoon in his back. And then I worked on the Frankenstein. And from there, I was
Oh,
working on all types of things. The Viking Age Spawn was a lot of fun to work on there too. So it was the Spawn with the helmet with the cracked one horn was cracked, and he had the giant axe, and he's screaming. He's got worms in his mouth. So that was fun. I never sculpted anything like that before up until that point. But after McFarlane Toys, I went freelance, and Diamond started giving me projects. So go back to your first question. The first product with my name on the box, I believe it was the Hobgoblin I did mini bust for Diamond.
cool.
And then after that, it was there was a Punisher bust I did for them, and he had a big sniper rifle. And after that, it was I think Cable from the X Force, the Cyclops' son from X-Men, and that had a glow in the dark eye they did on him too with the paint. So that was pretty fun.
Yes.
But those were the first pieces where my name came out. So I must be working with Diamond for almost 20 years now. So I think they have been some of my best clients. And then I've done freelance work for Hasbro. I was working with actually our mutual friend, Lenny Panzica. I worked on some stuff that was just in development. They were starting their own stuff because they had the Hasbro channel, and they were coming up with projects. And I don't think the one I worked on with him was greenlit, but I did have a working relationship with him, and it was fun. He was a really good art director. And then they moved him on to, I think, Transformers. So I didn't get to work with them much longer after that. But I want to reach out to them again because I see they have GI Joe.
Yes, now he works on J. Joe now, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, then I've done some freelance work for Mezco toys and uh, like some of the higher end collectible stuff, like the Hamilton Group and the Bradford Group. Um, Ashton Drake. I've done some of the big dolls for them, like some of the they're like 18 inches. I did the portraits were important, so I did some of those. I did Martin Luther King statues and stuff for them too. So yeah, I've been keeping pretty busy. You know,
Cool.
I've had a blessed career, thank God.
So, um, and for example, you told me that you have a personal project. This type of project is about comics, action figure, or just concept? What is this type of your own project?
Mostly concepts, you know. I've always liked classical stuff. I've liked, you know, paintings too. Like, I'm a huge fan of the painter Norman Rockwell. So even when I was drawing as a kid and a teenager, I always try to mimic him, and I think that's really helped me get a good grasp on clothing, anatomy, portraits, even. You know, and I used to, just for fun, I used to go to um, the bookstore, grab a cup of coffee, sketch pad. And I used to just draw people too, random people, and it helps you as an artist, like get gesturing, get, you know, people's personalities, the way they stand, even when they order a coffee. You know, when people are talking in a conversation, they're like, you know, spits flying, and you know, you draw all that stuff, and it helps you, like, you know, you get that feeling. So for my personal projects, I like to, you know, do realism. Um, I like uh, the Roman and Greek gods too. So sometimes I'll do like busts or statues and like action poses. And it's a lot of it too. It's just for good practice to, because if you keep on using like your anatomy skills, you know, gesturing, you just get better and better. And then when you get those projects too from the toy companies, then your pieces, you know, get better. You know, you just keep growing as an artist.
You start to work immediately digitally or not? What is, or you have
And I
the,
started. Oh, I started with clay. I started with actually super sculpey, with wire frames, with tinfoil frames, putting stuff in the oven. You know, baking it, hardening, and then building on top of it. And I practiced early painting, which I'm not good at. You know, even to this day, I haven't given myself enough time to actually go in there and paint. My love is the sculpture. You know, so that's what I've been doing.
and do you prefer now with digitally or back in the day with clay? What is the, tell me something about um, these two different tooling, no, to create, to design. No, I try to do a comparison. For example, in music, sometimes in the past I compose a song with just with piano or with the guitar, but many times I start to use software. No, with the software, with the keyboards, you can play drum. You can write in any parts of the instruments. Also, maybe some song I start the song with the groove with the drum, for example. No,
Yeah,
so digitally actually. So I discovered that digitally helps you a lot to be more fast, but also to do something that was impossible just with your with the analogic stuff like piano, like writing with the pen. Also
mhm.
because my calligraphy is so bad to me, it's impossible to understand what I did. But also because your computer is you can become faster to write a novel, for example. And tell me
Yeah.
the difference for you, and which one of these way is your favorite and why?
Well, I've really got addicted to the digital sculpting, but for the longest time, my heart will always be with clay because there's just something visceral about it. You have the clay in your hands, you're building up, you're seeing the forms come to life out of nothing. You know, actually, on my website, I've got videos on how I start sculptures. I have got Edgar Allan Poe
Oh,
in clay. I have a video from start to finish on that, and then I have videos too on how I do digital, so you can see the difference. But they kind of are similar. They both start the same. With the clay, I have you know, I warm up clay and I start kneading it, and I make a ball out of it. And with digital, I start with a sphere. So and I start pushing in and like the eye sockets, the cheekbones, you know, and start same thing with the clay. You know, you start out with, you make kind of like a ball, then you start pushing in, you start adding like the brow, the cheekbones, the same thing. So but it's a lot more the feel of clay. I'll always have a passion for, but with the digital, it does make it a little easier and quicker for me to start blocking out like full pieces. Like if I'm working on I'm doing like a full statue in clay, you as you're working on it, you have to build up more, you gotta add here, and before it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting harder and harder to work on. But in the computer, it's like you could zoom in, you could zoom out, you could throw in a big blob for the chest, the head, and then start pulling, you know. You could do symmetry, so you're working on this part of the arm, you're working on this at the same time. So you're cutting corners too there, and then you don't have to worry about proportion being wrong too. So if you're working on a right hand and the left hand is a little bit smaller than the right hand, in clay, it's hard to go back and fix that. But excuse me. But in the digital, it's like, okay, no problem, So, those
I
are.
think that you have. Can you share something, demonstration about it if you want now?
Yeah, I was actually working on Agent Smith from The Matrix. So
Yeah,
I'll give you a quick turnaround of the little bust I'm working on. If you wanna, do I need to click anything?
yeah, I believe.
Okay, you see my screen?
Absolutely. Everybody can see
All right.
because I have also another device to control. Yes, also everybody can see now.
Yeah, so now you can see my Agent Smith here.
Wow, awesome.
So with this too, you could, like I'm working on the outfit. I could go over here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, and wrong one.
And this program, what is ZBrush? What is the name of this program?
This program is ZBrush. Yeah. So if you can see here, like I was telling you, the symmetry. If you start pulling one side, the other side goes too.
Oh, cool.
So you could, I could add in arms and what have you. And then it's all in parts too, which you can't do as easy in clay, right? So if I want to take the tie off, I could, and I make things look clean and, very symmetrical. I got all the parts like glasses, very difficult in clay to, make nice glasses. You have to, pretty much fabricate those, but
And to get the likeness of what the all works, you use a photo and the computer, or you need to do every pieces of the face. Uh,
well, I have like his hair is separate. You can see him bald. So I could put in and take out things too at will. So like his eyes too. If I'm working on something else. I've colored it to a poly paint. I could take all the color off if I want to. I have a little green effect, so it looks like the movie, but I could take that off. So
but in the beginning, it was like a sphere, a digital sphere to.
oh yeah. I start with a ball, and then I start building out and pulling and adding stuff. So I mean, I could show you how I normally start a piece. Let me take all this stuff off for you.
Now he become the Invisible Man now.
There's the Invisible Man, yeah.
Yeah, I recall the John Carpenter movie with Chevy Chase about it.
Yeah, I remember
Was
that movie. So I could bring in just the severe, right? I could go right there. And from here, I could go symmetry. And then I could start pulling a face down. I could start,
oh,
I could go
cool.
in here. I could start pushing in. Oop. I could reverse it, and this is how I start most portraits. You want the nose in there. You're going to have the brow come out a little bit. You got the cheeks, chin. This is how I start basically all my portraits. You come down for a little
Cool.
space for the neck. You can start pulling it out, pushing it in. And then you see it's all polygon too. And I can go over to my geometry and I can start dividing the geometry so that it looks a little smoother. And then from there, I could go take my build tool and then I could start building out. more shapes of the
So
face.
the program works symmetric. So when you do one side, it do the same stuff in the other side.
Yes. So to rough out a face is great for that, right? But then when you're doing, nobody has a symmetrical face. I don't care who you are. Nobody has a symmetrical. So once
Yeah.
I get the main base down, I take symmetry off, and then I start working on what the person looks like. Like, even me too. I'm heavier on this side and a little thinner on this side. So all actors are like that too. It's very rare to see somebody with symmetric eyes. You know. So then you go in there, you have to make all these little tweaks, and those are the tweaks that make a face come to life. Those are the things that make things real. You know,
Yeah. Cool.
that's like, and then you can start adding parts too once you get everything in there. So, like, start going in there. You can make a stronger chin. You start coming in for the lips. You
So
make
you
them
can
pretty.
you draw the line, and at the same time you can delete something like a virtual rubber.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and that's like it's basically then back and forth and all my little tools and tricks. And then at the end, then you get Hugo Weaving. You
For
get,
example, to create an actor, no, a character that has a likeness. When you work, you watch in the same time the face in a pictures, or
I'll watch,
you.
yeah, I'll watch a movie that the character, like, because all these actors too, you have to embody who they are in the movies. Like his character as Agent Smith is a lot different from the Red Skull. He's very forceful in both movies, but in Red Skull, he's a little more. He's arrogant. I'm going to rule the world. But in like the Matrix, which is the first one, he's more like I'm gonna I have to end humankind. He's very robotic almost. So I try to get the essence of the character that he's playing, and then then I take all the photos from like online, and I'll start lining up like nice uh, profile pictures, 3/4 shots, front on. If there's a shot where the camera's got the top of him, I want to get the shape of his head. If there's underneath, because you can get the nostril shapes and the jaw. If anything's a little crooked, you can see all that stuff. So I put all that reference up on one of my screens, and then on my main screen here, then I'll start trying to match up everything that I'm seeing.
Wow, maybe this is the. I think I try to wonder that the maybe is more difficult create something like that as a that already exist like an actor, then create your own character, no? Because you have more freedom when you create just a character that exists because it's your own creation, no?
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody knows who these actors are that I'm sculpting, right? So everybody has a feel of what they think the person looks like. And you cannot please everybody with that. But if I'm creating characters for myself, nobody's gonna, like, if I'm making, say, a Cyclops from one of the Greek stories, right? No one's gonna say, "Oh, that wart doesn't belong there." No one's gonna do that. But with a portrait, everyone's gonna be very, very critical, right? They're
Yeah,
gonna be, and every artist has their own style too. Like I do portraits, but my portraits, I think you could see a little bit of my style in there versus another sculptor doing portraits. Everybody has their own little feel and tweaks. I mean, you can see it a lot in clay too. Like, I have friends that have sculpted in clay and then they went to digital and they bring their styles over too. So I think I do the same thing. So, but I try to match things as best as I can.
cool. So you in this case for this character you can rotate also for the back, or there is another file for the back. You can.
I don't know. Yeah, I could rotate them. Yeah,
It's 360-degree.
yeah. Any angle I could turn them around.
Awesome.
So this is why it's good too to have angles like underneath the face, on top,
It's
so
cool. It's a cool program because I know that many of your colleagues use ZBrush. Is the reason why I heard the name of this program before.
yeah, I think it's the industry standard for movies too. And one of the first movie characters actually, I think that they used ZBrush fully on was Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, sorry if you hear fireworks in the background. I
No,
live
I
close.
don't.
I live close to Disney World, so
Really? Oh.
yeah. So I hear a lot of that,
in
every night.
which in which city do you live?
I live in the Orlando area.
Orlando. Okay, in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, I remember WrestleMania in Orlando of wrestling.
Which one?
I believe a couple of years ago, because in the past I had another channel of wrestling, just about wrestling.
Mhm.
So I did the live stream for each event. I remember Orlando also because I believe in Orlando they have NXT also. This is the show of the youngster, no, the newcomers in the new wrestler. So to me, it's popular Orlando, Florida because of wrestling.
Because the rest. That's true. It's
Yeah,
getting really crowded here too.
yeah, I think. Can you show me other of your works right here on ZBrush that you
Yeah,
did?
I think I've got we have an Arnold Schwarzenegger in here too. Let me find him real fast. Okay, got him. I don't know what was it in this one. I have Norman Rockwell in here. I had started too. I don't think anybody's seen this piece yet either. So
Cool.
the self portrait that he's done of himself. The three. Hold on, let me see if I can open that. Yeah. And he's working on this is a very famous painting. I don't know if you remember it.
Also, you built a little bit of scenario like that, not just only the character.
Yeah. So I still have a lot of work to do on this because in that painting, he has so much detail everywhere. Because
Oh,
he's looking at himself in the mirror, then he's drawing himself. So I'm actually going to do that too. I'm planning on sketching him out and putting him there too. And then
awesome.
he's got all his reference up like all those artists do. And then I got to put stuff in the garbage can and do all the paintbrushes. But yeah, I like attention to detail. But
Yeah, also because in the big picture, maybe you don't see the details, but you feel the details in any case because the details is important. Because, for example, I built the castle dioramas for my action figure for my stop motion, no? And I
yeah,
try to create also the little details. The only maybe me, I know that there are those details, no? But I think it's cool. Put the details are very important things. Oh, I remember this is for DST, I believe, no?
yeah. This one's
Let
for
me see.
Diamond Select. It's going to be
Yeah.
PVC diorama. Yeah,
Yes, was revealed, I believe, few months ago. This one is recent.
yeah. So this one will
Cool.
be coming out soon. So you can see too. I could light them a little nicer too.
Awesome.
Give them a little shadow. Vincent
So you
D'Onofrio.
can change also the expression of the of the face easily for this one, for example.
Not easily, but I could change the expressions. Yeah.
You need to do many clicks to do that, I believe.
Oh yeah, I need to. Yeah, everything I have to change. I have to pull the face and make the muscles like match.
For
So
example, in a face like this one, how many lines you did to build the full face?
I don't count the lines. It's a lot of work. It's more like it's like real sculpting. Have you seen people sculpting from scratch? They'll start building
Yeah.
everything out and they grab their tools and pull it. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's all my tools are put into this one tool here in my hand, but on the side here, I have all these things I could pick from, so
So
I could
these
build.
are already okay. Either the tooling
Yeah,
to
yeah. So I could. I don't use many of them though. I use a handful. I use a clay buildup. That's how I block out everything I need. Then I use the damn standard brush, which gives you finer lines. Like you see his forehead here. I could add another line here. Oop, I'm on it. Hold on. I have to make sure I'm on that because you see here it's broken out into a lot of parts. So I have to make sure that I'm on the right one. So I could add in. Oh, that's too deep. You know, if I could go in here and add fine lines for his wrinkles.
cool. How you learn to use ZBrush? You study like a manual, or you learn to use just to use. So you start to use and you learn how to use during the process to use the program, for example.
Yeah, I originally bought the program, I think, in 2008, but I really didn't know what I was doing. And then I had it on a Mac, and Macs had a lot of glitches when this came out. So I thought I didn't know how to use the program correctly. So I kind of put it on the back burner. And I didn't really work in it because I was still getting a lot of toy projects with wax and clay. So like, I'm still staying busy. I'll learn it eventually. So I just I didn't really get back into it until I think 2014. And I see everybody's using it now. One of the last guys, like from the old school clay, to jump into the ZBrush. So I ended up watching a lot of YouTube videos, trial and error. If I had problems, I would ask other friends who were learning it. You know, how do you get past this thing? How do you do this? How do you do that? And some people would be really friendly and helpful, and others were like they didn't want to give you the time of day. You're my competition. So, but the good guys were, they were there too when they were starting out. So they know how it is to go from one thing to another. It's totally new field. Sorry, it's
You
auto.
create during your career, you did also some as recently, or maybe you told me the spawn before, but digitally, um, you did also some action figures recently.
Oh, I worked on Karate Kid figures. Actually, I did the portraits on those, and Chris Dahlberg did the articulated body parts and stuff. So they wanted me to make sure the portraits were spot on for those. So it was a collaboration, that one.
Okay, so in the case you created the character digitally, and he creates the joints and the stuff.
Well, he does digital too, but he doesn't use ZBrush. He uses another program.
Oh,
I forgot the name of the Freeform, I think, is the name of the program he uses.
oh.
Um, and yeah, so he'll do articulated figures in the computer too. He used to be a clay sculptor too, Chris. He used to be part of the Four Horsemen. Um, and then he went freelance and started learning digital. So
Now he works for the For Awesome now.
Chris Dahlberg used to be one of the original Four Horsemen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he was
Because
working on.
I know the For Awesome, but don't think he works in the past with the For Awesome. He
Yeah, he
was
started it with Eric Mays and the other
Treadwell.
guy, yeah, Jim and the other Eric too. So yeah, they were the Four Horsemen, and then he left and he started freelancing. He went, I think, Dark Horse and Diamond and some other places. So he's a nice guy too. I've met all of them. I was in the studio because when I was working at McFarlane Toys, they would invite people to their studio too. So I got to see some of the first He-Man stuff they were working on, and um, Harry Potter, and I was the guys were fun. They were very entertaining.
Yeah, I know, especially CB Cornboy.
Yeah.
Eric Mays was in my show, I believe, 3 times. Another member of the studio as well, so I know them. Also
Yeah.
because I'm a collector also of the Mythic Legions as well, so
Oh, very
I
nice.
know their works. As I know very well also the Diamond Select Toys figures, because I'm as a YouTuber, I work with Diamond Select. I did a lot of reviews, so I know really well also what they did because I am a friend also. Did you work also for NECA in your career?
Yeah, I worked on the El Super Bisto cartoon figures for NECA. Yeah, I think at the time they didn't have that many guys who could do cartoon stuff. And I was working on Upper Deck sports figures, and I did like close to 100 of those in a cartoon style. They were all different styles because they were hiring different illustrators. Um, and they would send me everything. Like there was one illustrator doing football, a different style altogether for hockey, basketball, so I was sculpting all different styles of cartoons. So I was talking with Randy because I knew him from McFarlane Toys too. I was at one of the trade shows, and he said, "Oh yeah, I think I have something for you. You could, because we don't have a lot of guys with the cartoons, and they were El Super Bisto movie was coming out, and they needed 2 figures done. So I did El Super Bisto and the girl in the movie, which I forget her name now.
I
Um,
know that Randy Falk is super busy because I still wait to do an interview with him since I believe in the late 20 in October 2020, I believe, because he told me there was okay to him to the interview, but still waiting right now because he's busy. So I hope one day to have also him in my show. Can you show me something of your, if you want, because maybe it's top secret, I don't know, some of your own creation, something that's not related with a license or.
yeah, see if I could get on my drive here, and then I'll oops, load. I have many things. Let me see if he's in here.
Just to do a little steps inside your world.
Let me see. You got me there. I have to go find it now. Is it in this drive? I have so many drives too. I have so many things I've worked on. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's a Popeye I did. If,
Oh, cool.
yeah, this one I did for fun. He's based off of the actual guy that Popeye is. His name was Rocky Siegel,
Ah,
or I'm
cool.
not. Let's see, Rocky Feigl was the actual guy's name, and he was a brawler. He was a seaman, and he used to tell stories to the kids and stuff. And he was a bouncer too, and he at a bar, and he was actually in love with a woman named Olive, who was a waitress. So that's what the whole story came from of Popeye. So I thought it would be fun to sculpt him.
Awesome.
So all the details. Let me go load something else.
For example, to realize by yourself, just to see the pieces in real life, like this
Yeah.
one that you did for yourself. There is our mutual friend in the chat. One Six Shooter is an awesome photographer.
Awesome. Yeah, there we
Shout out
go.
also to Tom Slanka and Blaze Star, solid fan of the channel. trouser meat. Thank you, guys. And guys, stay tuned also for tomorrow because I can say so much right now because the guest will confirm only tomorrow. But maybe tomorrow night at 9 p.m. will be a big surprise with the superstars of something. But I can say more because the confirmation about that will be only tomorrow. So let's see. It won't be there, but be here, not there, in my show. So it's a surprise.
I'll
Wow,
tune in.
this is it's cool, this one.
Yeah, this one's Zeus or Jupiter, depending on which name you like.
If you are Roman or Greek, depend
Yeah,
on.
Roman or Greek. Yeah, and I gave him one of his eagles from the
I
store.
always preferred the Greek names of these ancient gods. No,
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so I was gonna do a bunch of these. I've got. Let me see. Let me go back one.
and if you want create you need to use a printer to create the sculpture of your works digitally. If you want see your desk, your creation, for example.
Yeah, I've got a few 3D printers. I do some of my own 3D printing for diamond too. So I'll sculpt pieces, and when they have ownership of Gentle Giant Ltd, so they do a lot of printing there too. So it depends on schedule. I like to print my own stuff because I know exactly how the pieces go together and everything. So it's easier for me. I like doing the extra work too because I love seeing my pieces come to life. I've got even here. I've got just
I
for fun.
s-
I did a little Michael Keaton bust.
let's see.
Oh,
I changed the okay like that. I can see better. Wow.
yeah, so I 3D printed this myself too. I got a penguin too. So this is tabletop printing basically.
Wow, I love this. This is Danny DeVito Penguin, Batman Returns.
Yeah, I met him once actually in New York.
Really?
Yeah,
Danny DeVito?
yeah, he was a very nice guy. I was outside of one of those TV shows, one of the morning shows, and he was walking down the street with his bodyguard and his assistant, and he stopped for photos. He was a really nice dude.
Cool. I love that. I love that movie of Tim Burton's. Both my two favorite Batman movie are the Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, I thought that's my era too. So he's my Batman.
There is a fan in the chat of you, Trevor, says that
Yeah, you doing, Trevor?
he has your artwork on his shelf.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. I've had so many nice people, especially like on social media, and I've known for years. They were there right from the beginning when I started doing sculpture, and they stayed friends. They're really nice people.
Yes, absolutely. I meet many people of this world with this show on the channel, so I become a friend with many of them. So that's true. There is a lot. There are more nice people in this world and in the music business world. Because in Italy, I am a friend with some famous musician, artist, singer, but not of everybody. Because somebody think to be that they are gods, but they are not the gods. Also their music are garbage, But I discover, especially in Italy, the people, many famous people, when they have less talent and more ego, they have more talent and less ego. It's like a interesting situation between these two things. There is a comment for a solid fan of the channel, Damien Ristori. Hello there, Alan and Rocco. Stopping by to show my support as always. Greet there and not toxic people. Need Pinky on these streams. Keep up in the good work. Thank you,
Awesome.
Damien.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for tomorrow night. I'm not sure, but maybe will be a super guest tomorrow. Let's see. Let's see. Finger crossed. Tell me something about this artwork right here, man.
Oh, this one here, this is Artemis, another of the Greek gods. This is Apollo's twin sister. So she's the goddess of the moon and hunting. So I wanted to make her with her archery set and all the details. You
Wow,
know,
there's a lot of details there.
yeah, I was working on her for a while. The braided hair, all of her arrows. I'll probably put more detail in there too. The sandals.
But for something like this, what is your reference? You search some photos, or you just follow your imagination, your concept.
This is just my imagination.
Wow,
I have a
you have a
very
great imagination, my friend.
yeah. I've got thank you so much. I've got center in here started. I don't even remember some of the things I started. Oh yeah, oh I was doing a center for my kids. They like the Narnia movie.
Wow,
So oh, so I did a little miniature of this one. It's a big file, so yeah, so I gave them two
cool.
swords. Yeah, just roughing that one out.
If your kids want something, you just need to sculpt digitally and print with the
Yeah,
print.
I've made one of my sons really liked army figures too, so I did a bunch of army figures for him too. During actually the pandemic, I had a lot of free time on my hands. So yeah, I made a lot of different things. Here's a minotaur. Let me see.
Wow,
Yeah, the queen, the ice queen, and the minotaur.
awesome.
Yeah, I forget the actress's name. She was also in Doctor Strange.
I don't remember
Yeah,
the actor
sometimes I blank
name.
out on people's names,
Yeah,
but these are all fun little projects I was working on.
I like the mace too. The Minotaur has the big mace, big weapon, the mace.
Yeah, and I have
Is a axe. Okay, now in another way point of view, I saw there is a max.
yeah, and then here's
Double axe, big guy. This one.
yeah. So this one here, I was gonna go back and finish up more fur and everything.
So you can create also miniature to do a gameplay, the game or RPG game if you want.
Yeah, I do all different things. I do even life size pieces. I go small to big, So I even have I don't know if you see up there. I got Spike from Buffy and the Vampire Slayer.
Cool.
That's life size. The angle is a little. It looks small there, but if I
It's
take
the
it.
same as in is a real life size. So like a
Oh yeah,
face.
yeah, as big as my
Cool.
head. Yeah, and then I do different scales too. Like this one here is about quarter scale. This was an astronaut, John Glenn.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
You can make your own toys by yourself. You can create your own collection. It's cool that.
Oh yeah. I even talking about miniatures too. I did for Diamond too. I did these deforms of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah, remember. Beautiful. Are you the man behind this? Super cool.
Yeah, I did the line of those, and I 3D printed these for them as well. So yeah, I do small things too, even smaller than this, half scale.
Did you ever consider to create like your own RPG game with your miniature, your world?
I haven't thought about it. I have a friend who's really into that kind of thing, and he's always telling me all the ideas that he has, and he wants to get me started on stuff. But
Yeah,
I get that.
because there are people interested in this stuff. There is a market for that. I'm a role play. I'm a player only of HeroQuest, this type of game, fantasy. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons looks like HeroQuest. I have the original one of the early 90s, I believe. Actually, I tell you a fun story. This HeroQuest game is huge game like this. I stole that game in a toy shop when I was a kid.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. And when I learned how to stuff for this toy shop when I was 13, like that, no? I I I teach this my technique to other friends. So the toy shop started to lose many stuff because of me.
Hey, kids will be kids. We didn't have any like real supervision when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I was all over the place. I grew up in New York, so I got into a lot of trouble that my parents never found out about. We were all over the neighborhood all the time.
You're a toy collector or only statue? You're a collector or anyway?
Um, I don't collect. If I did, I'd have a big problem. I used to collect when I was younger, but now the only stuff I have is stuff that I've worked on.
Wow.
Because I really don't have enough room to like warehouse other collections. I like a lot of pieces out there. I look at stuff. Ooh, I like that. I could see that in my house. But I'm a good boy. I don't I don't spend too much money on stuff like that.
I'm a collector, but also I start to create something for my collection. I start to build. You can see something right there, a castle for figures like Mythic Legions, or also Diamond Select Lord of the Rings to create stop motion because I love do stop motion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and for action figure, I need to build something. I start to build this one. I can show you something. This one is just the wizard room in the top of
Oh,
the tower. No? This is all. Everything is sculpted by with on font, XPS font. No,
oh,
there is
wow.
also. I start to build also some details on this window,
Have
and
you done?
the full tower is about 6 feet 8 inches tall.
Oh, wow.
But I create also underneath there is another little room and then a staircase. No,
That's great.
yeah, but I started 1 years ago and only my free time because yeah, I'm super busy with this channel of action figure and toys because it's a job to me. No, as to if you decide to be a YouTuber as a job, you work 12 hours, 14 hours by every day. You know? And
Yeah,
also, it's,
I'm on YouTube too, and I keep meaning to do more videos, like how I do it, my work. But I don't have that much time. I'm working on all the projects, and then
yeah.
when I'm not doing that, it's family time, and then so it's even to get to like stuff like working on the Minotaur and stuff here, I don't have that much free time to even jump on things
I
like that.
understand that because every day that I finish to work in the early morning because I work in the night, especially,
Mm.
I many things still to do because I have a project to do. I have a novel that I started and I haven't the time to continue the novel. I haven't the time to continue that because I'm super busy with this channel because I now I got a lot of samples, free figures from Diamond Select Toys. No, I need to I have the schedule for the review. It's a channel of toy news for everything. So I'm busy for this channel. When I have a free time, I always excited for something new. No, and now this castle is something new to me because when I started, it was the first time ever that I tried to do that. No, for example, I this the last things that I finish is this one is a ladder. Is a wooden looks like leather
Oh, wow.
for the castle for one of
Is
the
that
room.
real wood or that's foam too?
No, no, it's foam. It's foam.
That's
It's painted and carved like the could be looks like a real woods, but is XPS foam.
that's very cool.
And
Yeah.
when I start this stuff was the first time ever to me. I never done this stuff before, so it was a challenge to me because I'm good to writing song, to perform on stage as a singer, actor. I'm good to writing. I never done something like that. And I started this challenge because it was a mystery. What happened now? Maybe it will be a big mistake. I spend a lot of money to tools and this stuff. You know? But I realized that I'm good, so I continue. I keep going when I have the time.
That's great. I mean, you're really talented at it, so you're natural.
Yeah, yeah. The music was my first love, and I had a big. I was the 2004. I was the opener of an important band in Italy. I became famous. I work on TV.
Oh, that's good.
But the problem that your career is up and down. You become famous, but also you go back unknown because the people forgot easily. If you didn't see you every year on TV.
Mm.
So I decided to create my own TV with YouTube. Before with wrestling and now with toys because another passion I have action figure and I like to. That's right, Damian. That castle. So back to you because I'm Italian. I may talk too much sometimes. I start to talk about myself
I do the same thing.
because you have Italian heritage.
It's true. But you're really interesting.
What is your? Do you have right now a big dream project that you never did so far?
I don't know. I've worked on so many great projects. I mean, I'm always wanting to work on more things. I would love to do like work on GI Joe. I would love to work on Thundercats, He-Man. Those are like some projects I would like to tackle. My own things too. I would like to, maybe do more gods again. For a little while, I did some jewelry design too with my wife. So there's a lot of different things I'm into, and then I have an urge too. I want to draw more. I want to paint. So I'm all over the board too with art. When I've got free time, I want to be very artistic. You know,
Yeah.
so I gotta rein that in too. Sometimes I feel like Jack Sparrow's compass. Spinning. What direction are you in?
you have a you have a balance between your real life and the art because I'm a bad example for that. To me, it's difficult to find the balance. It's the reason why my girlfriend sometimes is upset to me because I when I start, I'm slow when I start. I wake up in like a 5 p.m. So in the
Mm.
when like a Dracula, no, with the sunset almost. And I walk when I slow. I go to the little with my pug is a little dog. And really slow to stop. But when I start, it's impossible to stop myself until 7 a.m. No,
Yeah.
so it's also when I'm writing I'm bad there when I'm writing because you go in another world, no. And so it's the art in general take over my life. But for you, what is the balance? There is a balance, and what is your balance?
Oh, that's tough because if I'm focused on something, I don't even know what time it is anymore. Like my wife will remind me, "You should get some sleep," and I'm like, "Why? Why do I need sleep?" Coffee and working. So it's like because it's 3 in the morning. Tomorrow you gotta get up, go take the car in or something. You got other responsibilities too. It's not just. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Thank God she puts me on course sometimes. I'm like, I could spend countless hours doing art. Sometimes I've actually fallen asleep at the table. I'm sitting there working, and all of a sudden, thump, my head is banging on
Wow, I
the screen.
understand so much that because sometimes I did some chapter of my novels almost sleeping.
Yeah,
Like that, with closed eyes, I continue to writing.
yeah,
It was in the moment, in that moment that you are not dreaming, but almost. It was
yeah.
crazy. That.
Well, that's when you get your best ideas too. That in between state, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got this idea. Yep.
Yeah. I
So
tell you also another fun story. One day I talked with my girlfriend said, wow, looks like this Saturday I have a lot of works in toy news. It's so strange because in general, Saturday is a day with less news. And he says, yeah, Alan, today is Friday. Friday, no, it's impossible. It's not Friday. It was Friday because I forgot the time frame.
oh yeah. If I don't have a calendar to look at, I don't even know what day it is. I really don't. And then summertime too, when everybody's off. I really don't know. Focus is gone with the calendar and time. I don't even put a clock up on the wall either because it's pointless for me.
Now it's time for the last question, the magic question.
Okay.
Did you ever do something in your art that was inspired by a secret, your own secret, something that you dreamed, the actual dream, no? I mean, or something that you don't know what is during the process, and you discover only in the end what you did, no? Something that happened when I writing, for example. Something similar happened to you in your creation that you do something maybe inspired by a dream or something really inside of you that maybe nobody knows and maybe nobody understand because you put you maybe something related your story as a human being in some details sometimes, I don't know, or maybe you do something that you don't know what happened during the creation of this artwork, and only in the end you discover what is your real ideas behind.
I have to say, a lot of the pieces that I work on, by the time I'm done working on them, I don't even remember most of like how I did certain things. So even like the company work I did, like especially when all the superhero stuff was really big, in those 10 years. I was working a lot on all the Marvel superheroes, and I was like working on maybe 4 pieces a month, and I would look back and go, I don't even remember how I did that. How did I do the armor like on Star-Lord and he's shooting and he's flying off the base? I was like, and I know that I worked on all of the pieces individually. I think it was like, I don't know, over 100 parts just for the chest armor, and all from scratch, and I look back at it and I'm like, wow, or I'm working on like a Ben Affleck Batman. I'm like, how did I do the detail again on that? Or I worked on Harley Quinn. I don't even remember how I did the fishnet stockings. I was like, that was really difficult to do, and I was like, I think I did some kind of mapping thing. I don't remember, but it came out great. So as I'm working on the pieces, I know I have to get them done, and I'm pretty quick too. So yeah, I'll spend hours on stuff, and then the next morning it's almost as if little elves went in there and finished it. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
I understand that
yeah.
because you are in the because when an artist when to start working open like a door in another universe, no, like you walk in another dimension, no.
They call it getting into the zone, right? And you get into the zone, that's when you lose track of time. You don't hear people talking to you in the background. You're focused on what you're doing. It's almost as if you're channeling it, and you're just boom, boom, boom. You're working and working and working. Or you're writing, you do music, or you're painting, and then you step back and you're like, wow, where'd that come from? But
Did you listen music to give you more inspiration, or you prefer the silence, or listen podcasts? What do you prefer in your background?
I'll go back and forth sometimes, like especially when I was first, like when I was hand sculpting, I like music all the time on. Um, then after I got married and started having kids, I didn't want to wake them, so I wouldn't play music, and I got used to the silence, especially at nighttime too. I don't wake anybody. So then when I got into the computer stuff, the silence was just like, I guess it focused me more maybe. Um, but now I like when I'm just having fun, I'm roughing things out. I'll go put music on. I'll put like something like 80s 4 hour like thing on YouTube, and it's just playing one after another, like you know Annie Lennox.
When I do novel, I create a playlist like a soundtrack for the story, for example.
Hmm.
It's a good way to create a story, also to forget everything, including myself.
Pretty funny.
So let's go to the outro of the show. Thanks for watching, my friends, and don't forget to go to social media and follow Rocco the Sculptor profile on Instagram. And thank you, Rocco, my dear close Italian friend like me. The artists like to travel in another world, in another world, you know. So,
Bravo.
thank you, grazie. What is your next for you? If you can reveal, what is your next project is coming?
I can't reveal it. I have a lot of non-disclosures.
So you works for something for Diamond Select, probably?
Mm-hmm. I've got 2 projects coming out, Star Wars related, so I can't say anything.
Okay,
You know.
can't wait to see. Also because I cover everything, and Zach is my dear friend as well. So thank you so much, and to everybody, stay tuned. Tomorrow, maybe I will reveal what happened tomorrow night. Let's see what happened with this guest. Is a superstar. So thanks for watching to all of you. Thank you, Rocco, and thank you to all of you. Goodbye.